Good morning, Utah. Do not believe a word I say. Now, not many lecturers say that, but I say that because science is not a belief system. It is a process of rigorous inquiry. And if you don't like what I say about it, you can go and check the data and the literature to see whether I have chosen fairly and represented it fairly in what I say to you today. I do not require belief. If you get the science wrong, or allow the science to be politicized, then the truth is a casualty, and so are people. 40 years ago, largely as a result of one kindly intentioned but very dopey book called The Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. DDT, the only effective agent against the malaria and Aedes aegypti mosquitoes, which cause malaria and yellow fever respectively, was banned and eventually banned worldwide. Before the ban, 50,000 people a year died of malaria. That was bad enough. After the ban, 1 million a year died, and they went on dying for 40 years. So 40 million people, nearly all of them children, died of malaria because of one stupid policy mistake, which became fashionable among a certain political faction. So the stakes are very high in this debate, because if we are getting this wrong and killing people by the million as we are through starvation, and in fact there is no global warming problem, or even if there is a global warming problem, then we ought to be taking more care to get the policies right, because if we don't get the policy right, we won't get the science right. If we don't get the science right, we start killing people. So we need more scientific objectivity. So here, for instance, is the trend in global temperatures over the last 9 years since the turn of the new millennium on the 1st of January 2001. I put it to you that that is a falling trend, and a significant one. You can see the rising trend predicted by the IPCC in that pink zone at the top, but the red line there, that straight bright red line, that's the trend in global temperatures over the last 9 years. A trend of relentless global cooling. And here is what's happening to CO2 concentration. Yes, it is rising, but it's rising no longer exponentially, but simply in a straight line, and in the direction of around 570 parts per million by 2100, not the 840 parts per million imagined by the IPCC. Here, for instance, for the last 3 years, is the summer Arctic sea ice minimum. That's the purple area on each of those 3 graphs. On the left, 2007, then 2008, then 2009. And you can see that the sea ice has been growing rapidly. In fact, there's 12% more of it in 2008, 24% more of it in 2009. Why? Because the sea ice, which disappeared temporarily for a few weeks only in the summer of 2007, has come back. You all heard about the way it went, and they all blamed that on global warming. Now here is what one of the ClimateGate emailers, Kevin Trenberth, said to his colleagues in an email he didn't expect to be made public. He said, there has been no global warming for a decade, well, we've just seen that. We cannot explain why. It is a travesty that we can't. And by 2001, the IPCC was saying with 66% confidence that most of the warming since 1950 was caused by us. By 2007, with more than 90% confidence that most of the warming was caused by us. Now, was there anything in the temperature record that would allow them to draw any such conclusion? Well, no, there wasn't, but they used a rather ingenious device to try to pretend that there was. I'm going to illustrate this device, first of all, by reference to the hurricane record. There you see hurricanes in the Atlantic of category 3, 4, and 5 making landfall in the United States since 1970. It's a terrifying increase, isn't it? Except if we put the rest of the record in, which the paper didn't originally, you get a completely innocent picture. And that is what's called the start point fallacy, where you tamper with the starting point of the data to choose the trend that you want it to show. And it is liberty that's at the heart of the American Constitution. Liberty that is most directly threatened by the naive and too ready belief that global warming is a global crisis, when it is not. The real crisis is a crisis of liberty and democracy itself. And let me tell you this, that while I am around, government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. God bless America.